Welcome back to the Hot Mix, an InstroTek podcast. I'm Maurice, and I don't have a co-host today. But hold on, I have an idea.
Yes, sir.
Brian, I need you, buddy. Can you come to the studio?
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Oh, thank God, dude.
I'm here.
Oh, I appreciate you, man. Oh, I know you're busy, and I know you were probably not ready for this, but, you know, the call's on you, and we're here today to discuss a little bit of nuclear gauges, which is your favorite subject.
Nice. Nothing like short notice. I'm ready.
Today, we're going to be talking about how to winterize your nuclear gauge for the northern states that maybe be putting these instruments away for the winter. Really don't get much use, so we really want to let our audience know, hey, what are the key things we got to do to get the gauges ready to be put away so that they're good and ready to work when we get into the winter, back to the spring.
Okay.
So we got a whole list. We're going to run down. I know you have helped a ton of customers, right, to do some of this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm from Michigan originally, being up north, you know, just like you have to winterize your car to get it ready. Same thing here. There's some preparation and some steps to take in order to make sure that it's ready to go when you pull it
absolutely
for the spring.
So step number one, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the gauge, right? You want to make sure the gauge is completely clean. Now, we just dropped a video on YouTube on the InstroTek page, on the InstroTek channel, that goes through how to clean your gauge properly, how to get it all ready, either whether it's coming back from the field or whether you are going to be just storing it for the winter. And one of the most important things about cleaning, can you move that down, Brian, for me?
Yeah.
One of the most important things about cleaning your gauge is not to forget your gauge case. This is a big guy. So, on the gauge case, here we go. What you want to do is make sure you open it up. You vacuum the inside. You get all the nooks and crannies, right?
There'll be plenty of dirt and dust and
it'll be plenty of, if it worked, it'll be in there this summer. It'll be whatever, fields you were in, whatever projects you were on, some of that will be carried in here. So you want to get all that out, get all that dust out, particularly any moisture that's in here. And why would moisture be in here, Brian?
Well, when you come in from the field, you've got clay, you've got other sort of materials on the bottom.
Exactly.
And if they're holding any sort of moisture, once it gets in and locked up, then this that rubber gasket will make sure that the moisture doesn't escape. So you definitely want to make sure that it's free of any material that would hold moisture or moisture itself.
That's absolutely true. So very clean gauge case will make for a very happy gauge come springtime.
Yes.
That's my saying anyway. So the next thing we're going to talk about is actually on the gauge. We'll close this guy up and get him out of here. Let's push him back down.
I'll just take it over.
All right. Thank you, Brian. So the next thing we're going to talk about is batteries. Now, everybody knows that these equipment, the nuclear gauge runs on two cell batteries. One is here in the front, one here in the back, right? And I think you got example one.
Well, it depends on the different types of gauges that you have.
Exactly.
These specifically, our Explorer gauges have the 2 3-cell batteries, both of which one's located in the front and the back, like you said.
And the one thing that most technicians hate when they go out in the field is knowing that they take a gauge out and then next thing you know, they got a dead battery. Right? That is one of the worst feelings out there. So what you want to do is make sure you take off your scaler plate or your front plate here. This is what we call a scaler plate or overlay.
Front panel.
So you want to take these guys out and make sure that you leave it open for a little while. Especially if the gauge had any mud in it, let it air out.
Yep.
And then you also want to make sure that you run down your batteries inside of here. So how are you going to do that?
Well, you can take it up. There's a stat test that you can take on the gauge. It runs for 20 minutes. Our experts in the back told us if you want to kind of run down the battery, just like running out the gas in your lawnmower before you put it away for the winter, you make sure that it's completely.
That's a good reminder. I have to hold on one second. I forgot to do that already.
That's right.
And I still got gas in my lawnmower.
Right.
So thank you very much.
For the people in the northern states, it's time to get the snow blowers out and get them ready as well.
God, they must love that. Have they had the first snowfall up there? Probably somewhere in Maine.
I was just up there. It was 8 degrees.
Well, they will soon. It's coming.
And once that's done, you want to remove the batteries too.
Absolutely.
Just unplug them.
Yes. So, and that's super easy in the gauge case. As soon as you open it, you can see where the plugs are. Just pull them out and leave them unplugged for the winter.
You can do it right from here, actually. You don't even have to take the top off.
No, you don't want to take the top off, just that scaler plate. You can access everything. So we're good there. The other thing I want to talk about is the alkaline batteries. So a lot of these gauges nowadays are coming with alkaline batteries, right?
Right here.
We have some in the back here. The Explorer has one, and this scaler board, you see that has all those double A's, yeah, there. So you want to make sure you get these off of there too, right?
You can take them off and use them for your Christmas toys.
There you go, or your Christmas lights or whatever you want. Awesome. The next thing you want to do is in your gauge case that we just showed, we want to look for any missing tools. Now, your gauge, nuclear cage comes with a number of tools. These are just two of them. Your drill rod,
scraper plate, extraction tool. Also, it's a good time to look for chargers, locks. I think we sell more than anything locks. They just seem to disappear. Locks,
we don't know where these locks are going, but someone in the world has a mountain of locks that is just collecting them, because they do, is #1 seller on pretty much any of our websites are locks. So definitely, yeah, make sure you have your locks.
Locks,
and lock your gauge.
Your chargers as well, your AC charger, your DC charger. Again, for the full list of all the accessories that we have, you can call one of us or any of the service centers what's needed for my gauges.
The next thing we're going to talk about is labels.
Oh, I'm right on.
So your gauge case labels. We showed the gauge case a little bit here earlier. You want to check your labels and make sure that they're all in good condition. Again, if you're going to be shipping it for service during the winter, which we'll talk about here in a minute, you definitely want to check them at this point and make sure that they are all looking good and pristine condition, because if not, you can violate some of the regulations.
Yep. So all your labels, they're pretty simple to put on. You can get them from any facility. Need one of the Type A labels that goes on top of the case, and then two each of the radioactive yellow 2 and the cargo aircraft.
Do you have a favorite label?
I like this one.
You like that?
Reminds me of Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
right.
No, it's electrical.
Yeah, it's not plutonium. It's just a nuclear gauge, folks. So you're okay.
You know what's my favorite?
What's that?
The orange one right here.
The cargo.
You know why?
Why is that?
This little guy here. He's got a huge hand. Like what about his other hand? like, could you imagine this guy walking around with this huge hand? I don't know. It's just always caught me funny how they made that sticker, and that guy has that huge hand.
You want to shake that hand.
But yeah, that's the aircraft cargo
aircraft.
Cargo aircraft only label. Just make sure that these things are only shipped around in cargo aircraft in the United States.
Public service announcement: if you're not shipping your gauges ever via aircraft, you don't have to have this label on. But we recommend it. We put on all of our labels, so that those are always on, and they're only a couple bucks each. And a good time if you store your cases inside in an air-controlled, air-conditioned environment, you can replace the labels at the start of the winter, and that way they stick. They get on stick. A lot of the complaints and things you hear from all gauge cases, because of the environment that they go out in, is that my labels never stick. Well, the earlier you can put them on, the more you can let them stick on, the better. So
absolutely. And prepping that area, cleaning the gauge case will help with that as well. That we just talked about. Awesome. The next thing we're going to talk about is getting them calibrated and leak testing.
Okay.
So the winter time is a perfect time. They're down. You're not using them as much, so you obviously want to get them that calibrated. Most states require that. Some of the specifications require the annual calibration and the leak test, right? So I think we have an example leak test. Here we go.
There you go.
So we can get these pretty simple to you. There is now a video. Again, on the InstroTek channel, another video that we just dropped showing you exactly how to leak test your gauge. So again, go over to InstroTek YouTube channel, look it up, and then it'll show you exactly how to use this, what to do, how to fill it out. Everything's on there.
Anthony must have been here for that one, because I didn't get a call.
No.
Okay.
He's here for most of them. I think you're a pinch hitter now. That's going to become your job.
I'll be the utility guy.
There you go.
Play that role.
So leak testing service. Tell me a little about calibration service.
So for calibration services, you can either, we've got 5 locations across the country. There's also many other service centers that are across the country as well.
Of course.
But typically you bring them in, you can either ship them in, or you can bring them in and drop them off. So a little bit of heads up if you're going to drop them off to your local center. Also, if you're going to ship them in, InstroTek, well, I know we provide, it's called no hassle shipping. You call us, you give us the model number and the serial number of the gauges. You tell us the date you want to pick up. And we do all the shipping paperwork.
We take care of all for you and make it super simple. And again, one less headache. We are experts at shipping. Let us handle it for you, and we'll do that. Not only can we do it, but we have a host of other partners around the country that can also calibrate this. Again, there's no added codes, there's no added cost for calibrating. If you have a favorite service center near you, take it to them. We promise we'll work with them. We'll let them calibrate for the InstroTek gauges. That's right. InstroTek or CPN.
Right. Part of the InstroTek calibration service, you get a free clean and lube. You get the electrical,
the whole works.
Mechanical, the whole line.
It's like when I go to Auto Bell. and I see the most one with all the features underneath. That's what you get with this.
Absolutely, including the aforementioned leak test. So that's
yes,
part
and the leak test. So we throw that on top of there too.
And right now with the winter special going on, right? We always run the winter special November 1st to April 1st,
great,
31st.
Yeah, great.
So there's a discounted price overall for the exact same service you're going to get outside of winter service time, but it's just a
not only that, you know what? You get discount on drill rods, on anything you buy while your gauge is in-house. You're going to get an extra 10% off as well. That makes it a little dangerous, doesn't it?
That is, yes.
that could probably hurt someone. I better be careful with that. Finally, while you're here, if you didn't know, we have a ton of great upgrades for these gauges. Probably too many to name here, but we do have one that we were going to talk about just quickly, which is...
Well, we can go through the Explorer 2. So for those of you with the standard Explorer, those can be upgraded to Explorer 2. A lot of new features, Bluetooth, USB download, nice big screen. Same thing here. This is for a older style Troxler gauge.
Yeah.
So this would be for an older 3430, 3440. We do have them for the new the Plus series as well, upgrades, which completely gives you a new CPU board, removes the need for codes, anything like that. So basically going to help you out long term with your gauges, and gives you the features that we found and our customers have found and most liked about doing having the InstroTek experience. So, but also another feature with some of these upgrades is the tracking, the nuke track.
The nuke track is awesome. And again, you're going to explain a little bit of what it is, but I will give my hats off to nuke track because it's kept a lot of customers in the know where exactly their gauges are. But what's nuke track?
Right, nuke track is just a quick add-on that we can do. It's a small device that goes inside the gauge. Your RSO at your branch level will have accessibility via PC, via mobile app to see where the gauges are in real time.
Now, how is that different than GPS? Because these come with GPS, right? And most people confuse the two. But one is a tracker that's actually tracking real time where the gauge is located. GPS will tell you where your shot was. Oh man, the shots.
The shots.
Here we go.
Cannot escape a shot.
Your reading was taken, right? So that's the difference. GPS is different than the tracking feature we offer. And again, most of the new models of the InstroTek and MC gauges, as well as most of our upgrades, now have the nuke track available. And we'll throw some information here on the screen while we're talking about it.
Right. It's kind of like when you used to go, to the store before there were cell phones. You call mom and say, "Hey, I'm at the store. I'm at this store." That's like one point, right? Mom knows where you were.
Right.
But with the nuke track, basically it follows you around, and you can ping it at every time.
It's like cover mom at that point.
Right.
Did you really call your mom from the store?
Sure. She always wanted to know where I was.
Oh, that never happened to me.
She said, "Brian, if you're going to be home, I prefer to know where you are."
Okay. Well, that's a good
mom. That's right. She was. But anyways, with the nuke track, you can track it. You can find out where it is. Now, to date, we have not had a gauge that was stolen and found, but I hope it never happens.
No,
but
we don't want that.
Just in case, that's the main reason that.
But we've had customers that has happened to them. And as an extra insurance, they have gone ahead and outfitted all their gauges with nuke track, and now that fear is a little bit lessened. Again, it can still be stolen, but as soon as you know that, you can track it, pin it, and again, it's all internal to the gauge. So there's not like you're going to be able to rip it off the gauge case or see it, or there's something outside of it. People can be like, "Here, let's throw that away."
Right.
So again, don't want to harp on this too much, but it is an awesome upgrade that a lot of customers are enjoying now. So track your asset, let you know where it is. So now let's just recap real quick. We talked about cleaning the gauge. We talked about batteries and the alkaline batteries. We also talked about checking for missing labels and replacing labels. We talked about checking for the tools, and making sure all your tools are together, especially those locks, since they go on every gauge. We talked about getting it calibrated, leak tested, and finally we talked about some awesome upgrades. Hopefully that's enough for you to get your gauge ready. It's set up, and you guys have an awesome spring season, and you feel confident that the gauge is ready when time comes. With that, we have rounded out the whole list of how to winterize your nuclear gauge, how to get it serviced, get leak tested, get it ready for the spring. And I just want to thank Brian for showing up at a minute's notice. He really didn't know he was doing this today, but I think he did great. So thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. And with that said, remember to always keep it hot.
Keep it real.
Keep it real hot.